All right, it is time now once again for the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. My name is Elias Melas, but you can call me Eli for short. And who is this gorgeous, amazing, multi-talented lady over here to my right?
Well, everybody out there should know I'm your girlfriend.
What's your name?
Oh, that's right. I have a name. My name's Dawn Ledgerwood.
That's right. Just like the screen shows, baby.
Yeah.
It says Dawn Ledgerwood and it says Elias Eli Melas on my side here. This is for the people out on YouTube. We also have the audio-only version on the podcast side of things. We'll get into that in just a little bit here. But before we get to that, baby,
Yes.
we've got a great show here today. We've got some very interesting aspects to discuss regarding, the copyright fair use argument, particularly around the YouTube streets. But it can also apply anywhere you create content through social media on the internet. But before we get to that, baby, this has been one heck of a crazy week, huh? How's the week gone so far?
Oh, well, you are right about the crazy week we had. Starting Monday, pretty average day, I would say. Went pretty smooth that day.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Tuesday, I had dental surgery done. And so that was kind of intense. I came home and pretty much slept for the whole day.
The entire day and then some.
And then into the next morning. It was painful. I had to go back in, see him again, make sure everything was working right, healing correctly. And then we had some other doctor's appointments for my upcoming surgery. So we got all of that done. You had a couple good shows out there. I know you took 2 days off to spend with me and recoup.
Not only to spend with you, but like you just said, to recoup. I was exhausted. There's so much going on. And I have a lot of energy. Anyone, regardless of your age, and I consider myself to be in pretty decent health, you got to take a break every now and then. I typically, walk every day. I do Walking with Purpose streams on YouTube. This actual, pre-recorded podcast video is uploaded to our main YouTube channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. And we have a secondary channel, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, that you can access, from any one of the videos on the main channel of our podcast. On GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, I do pretty much daily, if not almost daily, Walking with Purpose live streams. They do have a topic, but they're also very informal, where we allow our community to come into the chat and ask us questions. Sometimes it goes smoothly. Sometimes it's a big shit show because it all depends on, the people that come in the chat and how their day is going. And everyone has emotions, feelings, wants, needs. Everyone is set in their ways regarding certain things. And, that's just the way it goes. So, the last round before I took a break, I went over 2 weeks straight, and I was doing longer walks. I was walking, 2 to 2.5 hours. And I believe one stream I did close to 3 hours, and I was walking like 4 to 5 miles a day. So I needed to take a break to rest my voice and to just rest my body. You had all of your doctor's appointments. Like you said, you had dental surgery. Now you're going to have surgery on your clavicle, on your arm, coming soon. We've had other appointments to get to. We've had prescriptions to pick up.
Insurance hassles.
Insurance hassles to deal with, right? And it's just one thing after the other. It all just adds up, right, babe?
Oh, of course. Of course.
So, we took a few days off. I took a few days off, and it's funny. The haters out on YouTube were like, "Oh, maybe Eli is, scared about the copyright cases that he filed on another creator," which is part of what this show is based off of. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I just take time off when I need to take time off, and I create when I can create or want to create, etc. Right?
Well, yeah, and we had plans on Friday night. We, our day, we had things to do earlier in the day, and then him and I had a date night, and he couldn't get out. There wasn't enough time to walk, so he decided he wasn't going to walk that day.
Right.
And then the next day, he said, "You know what? I'm not going to walk this date either. I'm going to, well, no, it was the day before. It was Thursday, you took the day off, and then Friday we had our date."
Yeah, I took that day off too. Yeah. Thursday and Friday I took off. Friday we went to a business that does stretching, and they were giving away free demo stretches. And I'll tell you, it felt really good. And if I had a bunch of money laying around, I would pay to go back. Well, whenever we do get the money, we will go and sign up and do it regularly, because I'll tell you, I felt amazing after a 20-minute, stretch. And I believe that the company's called Stretch Labs.
It is.
Yeah, Stretch Labs. And I don't know if they're just in the Bay Area or they're a nationwide company, but I will tell you, I was feeling much more, loose. I felt looser. I've got a lot of tight muscles, and the tighter your muscles are, that can affect, your sciatic nerve, being compressed. So, I want to definitely go back when we have the money to do so, but also I need to go and see a physical therapist, soon, regarding this. So that's that. But anyway, anything else, baby, regarding the week? It was pretty action packed.
Oh, action packed and a lot of fun. I mean, dental surgery is not fun.
No shit.
Don't get me wrong. But other than that, we had a really good week. I mean, just really carefree, and yeah, we had obligations we had to get to, which made it busy.
Yeah.
But, we both feel accomplished. We got through that week and still smiling.
Yeah, except for the BS on YouTube. We're dealing with copyright issues on YouTube, and that's what this show is based off of. And we have a very special guest behind the scenes, or on, not behind the scenes, waiting for us on StreamYard. We use StreamYard to bring people on. And I don't know if should we bring her on?
Yeah.
Right now? Yeah. Let's get to that, and then we can continue, because she has a lot to contribute. This is one of our GNA executives. She's the director of special events. She's been a part of us now for close to 2 years. A wonderful lady. She's experienced a lot in life, and she lost her husband a couple years back. I think it was a little over a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago. She can let us know when she pops on. She was looking for a group that was going to be understanding and just supportive in general, but especially emotionally supportive. And we've done everything we can to be there for her. She's become one of our closest friends, one of our best allies, and I've got nothing but kind words to say about her. And she's also, donated quite a bit to us here at the organization, and we don't expect that, but that has no influence on. I mean, of course we appreciate it, but even if she didn't donate, we would still think of her exactly the same way. We have very high regards for her. So without further ado, let's bring on our very special guest, right, baby? Let's bring on Tia. Tia is in the house. Tia, welcome. We're going to give you a big, huge round of applause.
Oh, welcome thank you,
to
guys.
The show.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Before we get to it, Tia, how are things going? How have things been for you since we last had you on the podcast? You were also on the last podcast about a month ago with our director of
Public relations.
Public relations. Yeah, there we go. Our director of public relations. There's so much going on. I'm losing my verbiage here. Sandra Palacio was here, and we did a great show. It was about a month ago regarding kids being exploited by their parents on the internet.
Right.
But how's it been? And we need to do a part 2 on that at some point. We will do a part 2 on that. But how's it been for you lately?
Really good. I say that sincerely. My life is so much better, and I'm saying this because of what you had just brought up. I wanted, there's a lot of things that happen on YouTube that many don't know about. And this show will really show you what happens on YouTube. But
oh yeah,
I wanted to get out. It was so dramatizing, it was crazy. It really was. And at that time, my husband passed away. Right at that time, I came across the GNA, and I will tell you that Eli and Dawn changed my life, and I can never thank them enough. Without going too deep, they have been there for every phone call, every time I needed someone. They were very caring, very compassionate. And well, that's what the GNA is about. And I am proof of it. I was literally just lost. I just was, honestly, I was probably half out of it when I came to the GNA, because I was so emotional. But I stayed with them. I liked the people. I didn't like what was going on. And I'm sure we'll touch on that. But as far as finding people that are really genuine, I cannot say enough. And it really has changed my life. And I do not know where I would be in my life, going from your life to all of a sudden you're single. And I have no children. So, it was very different. But I was shocked at the support. I really was. I cannot thank you guys enough. I appreciate everything you guys have done.
You are welcome. You are loved here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Tia. We greatly appreciate you. And we also appreciate the kind words regarding the organization and, how, our purpose is to truly help people. Our intentions, which is a better word, is to truly help people. And we have been scrutinized all over YouTube by a bunch of misfits that need the help more than anyone. Right. That we are a criminal organization. We do criminal activity, and we've never ever done that. All we've ever done is stand up for people that are being abused by, again, crazy people on YouTube that are going through a lot. They've got a lot of unresolved trauma. They may be mentally and emotionally unstable. They're lonely, they're miserable. They have no self-love, they have no self-respect. They're lacking purpose. I always say that. Because they're so desperate to, have a purpose, they seek their relevancy out on YouTube by trying to destroy other people that are creating great things. And that's why I feel a lot of these copyright issues are happening on YouTube, because today we're going to be talking about the major copyright / fair use issue for episode number 14 of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. One more time, the topic is the major copyright / fair use issue for episode number 14. It all relates because a lot of these people in this state of mind, mentally, emotionally, etc., they basically make other people's happiness their purpose, and they use large portions of our content, and it affects us. It affects us monetarily. It affects us, getting the traction, getting recommended to the right audience through the YouTube algorithm, etc. And we're going to be talking all about that here today. But before we get to that, Tia, is there anything else you wanted to mention at the beginning of the show regarding how it's been since the last time we checked in with you?
No, things are going really good. It's the time of year where I'm kind of doing as much putzing around the yard as I can, because I'll be going to therapy, sports medicine. I have some issues. We're all getting older, we got to hit them doctors now. But so no, otherwise everything is good. It is.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is great to hear, huh, Dawn?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to hear. Dawn's been to sports medicine, and they helped her out tremendously. They gave her a cortisone shot, which helped her out because you had frozen shoulder, right, Dawn?
Yeah.
She had frozen shoulder. It took care of that. She felt good for a day or two, but then the pain came back because the main pain came from her broken clavicle, which needs to have surgery to repair and get rid of that pain. So, sports medicine is the place to start. The way insurance works, if people don't know, before they're going to authorize an expensive surgery for you that they're going to have to pay, they want you to take all the other steps to see if the issue can be rectified, in a more, I was going to say cheaper way, which is the
affordable.
Truth. In a more efficient way, right?
Or affordable.
Affordable way or efficient way, right? But it all boils down to money, pretty much. But when all other roads have been exhausted, Tia, like they've been with Dawn, then surgery is your last option.
Yeah.
And Dawn's surgery's been approved, and it's scheduled.
Ready to go.
And it's scheduled in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, not less than 2 weeks, actually.
About 2.5.
About 2.5 to 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to be outpatient. So, you'll be there half the day and then you're coming home, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great because the other times you've been in the hospital for other things over the years, me having to leave the hospital and come back home to sleep and also take care of our 2 dogs. It's like I would rather have you here. It's like I feel more, I feel better that you're safe and all that. But when you're in the hospital, especially a good hospital, and most of them I would like to think are good hospitals, but some are better than others. There's no better place to be than the hospital.
Right?
Like there's no safer place to be in the hospital. If something happens,
right.
They have the best chance of saving you there than calling 911 and waiting even 5 minutes for them to show up. And oh man, anyway, that's another story in itself, huh, babe?
Absolutely, yeah. Sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, you ladies ready to get right to it? We've got a lot to talk about. The show's probably going to be about 2 hours or so. But anyway, so today we're talking about the major copyright / fair use issue. And we're going to be primarily focusing on 2 current active court cases. Well, actually, total of 4, but 2 of them are by me on one person, and the other 2 are by another more prominent YouTuber named Ethan Klein, who has over 5 million subscribers, and he, he's made lots of money, and he's actually suing a total of 3 individual creators. But as of this time right now, we're actually recording this on on Sunday, June 22nd. It'll be released throughout the entire podcast network on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and your favorite baby,
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio will be released throughout the entire podcast network, video and audio only, on Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. So he has 2 active cases that were just filed literally days ago. And he filed directly in federal district court because when you file in smaller claims copyright court, which is known as the Copyright Claims Board that was created a few years back to give creators an alternate way to resolve copyright issues in a more affordable way. It is a good thing. The problem is the person that you're suing, I'm the claimant, he's the respondent. The respondent, once they get served, in this case, a guy by the name of Jamie on YouTube, that's been violating my copyright for many, many years, like 6 years. He has 60 days to opt out. Mm-hmm. And once he opts out, then my only other option is to go to federal district court. And then he can't opt out of that. But federal district court is a more serious process. It involves a judge and a jury. And it involves, larger court fees. Now, you can represent yourself pro se, meaning representing yourself in federal court, as an individual, which if I had to, I would. But it's recommended that you do have an attorney. And if you are suing as a business, it is required that you have an attorney in federal court. And attorney's fees cost a lot of money. So the whole thing can get quite expensive. But most importantly, it can be very, very time consuming, and very, very emotionally draining. Right, babe?
Oh, yeah. It's like literally a drainage of your energy. Like, figure you put that on top of like a sponge on top of your body, and that's what it does. It sucks it all out.
Right. What are your thoughts about that, Tia? The whole process, I mean, we've talked about it behind the scenes with the G&A executive team. I mean, there are some things that we can share that we've talked about, and other things that obviously those are private, business matters amongst the executive team only. But how has this affected even you emotionally, and how draining has it been to deal with this?
Well, it affects me not nearly as much as how I see it affects you. I can hear it in your voice. You sound, I hate to use the word dragged out, but exhausted.
Yeah.
You're not just like, it's not just your brain. You do a lot of physical things, not just at your home, but you put 3 miles in every day with your Walking with Purpose, which I applaud you for that. That's a great way to, it's fun to watch and see the scenery, and it's just nice. It's different than just looking at a background of something, but as far as, the exhaustion, definitely can tell it in your voice. And even, you're only human, and, sometimes not to me, but sometimes like on the walks, you might get a little bit more aggravated, and it's not personal. It's the stress of it all, and the clap that you're getting from other creators, and just the BS that goes on in the community. It's been going on so long. It's I feel for you. That's where I have the problem, because when you care about somebody and you're seeing them go through this every day for no reason,
right?
But to be just, in my eyes, it's to be a jerk, and you don't know how to create content. So you steal it.
You nailed it right there.
Do we give Tia a big round of applause for that, John? Tia, you're going to get a big, huge round of applause. Tia, I'll give you a genuine, authentic round of applause. Don and I will give you our real hands. You know, this digital world we live in, Tia, is so inauthentic at times, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you nailed it there.
She absolutely nailed it, Don. She absolutely nailed it. Anything else, Tia, before we continue?
No, you can go on. I set my piece.
For now.
Yeah, right.
For now.
I said my piece, and we got to be very clear for now, for the time being, right?
Yep.
Right.
All right. So she knows we're messing with her. I mess with you, Dawn, all the time.
I know.
You finally learned to allow me to mess with you because your mental health's gotten better. It can handle it better now, right?
Oh yeah.
She's looking at me like,
oh yeah.
Anyway,
it might not be working today. I'm just kidding.
I have my days and my moments just like the rest of us. All right. So the very first thing we're going to talk about, and I'm only going to show one aspect on the screen for the people that are viewing the podcast on YouTube. That's going to be a Reddit posting from Ethan Klein's group behind the scenes. It was a very good posting, and I'm completely agreeing with his community and him. So everything else we're just going to talk about. I got some notes for everything else, and we're going to also read, what brought this case about for Ethan Klein of H3 Productions. So let's first of all talk about what is fair use copyright, okay? Fair use is a legal doctrine in U.S. copyright law that allows the use of copyrighted material without permission from the copyright holder under certain circumstances. Let's make that very clear. Under certain circumstances. It is an exception to copyright, balancing the rights of copyright holders with the public interest in the free flow of information and creativity. So we're going to go over the 4 factors that the courts, look at regarding fair use, okay, in a second. But I want to first ask you, Don, and then Tia, okay? It says under certain circumstances. What does that mean to you?
Well, it kind of brought like music to my head. Like, and when you write music, you own the rights to that, but you can give up partial rights, like certain like movies or whatnot that will play it in the background. But YouTube won't accept that as like something of their terms of service. So that's that. I'm thinking that's what they're kind of saying, with exception, like for in the movie on the TV show.
I'll share. Let me get what Tia feels about that fair use is allowed without consent from the copyright holder under certain circumstances. What does that mean to you? And then I'll share with you ladies what it is.
Under certain circumstances is what you're asking.
Right.
Well, I would look at it as if it's your work. It's yours. For somebody to come along and use your work for gainful, to take away money from you, that is, I can't think of the word. It's just not, it's not right. It's not, you didn't do the work. So it's almost like theft to me. That's how I kind of look at it.
Stealing is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Okay. Well, let me jump in here and then I'll share what it is. I understand where you both came from, but it's going to be the first part of the 4 factors is going to answer this question. So let's go through that. Key aspects of fair use. fair use is determined on a case-by-case basis using the 4-factor test. One of the 4 factors is purpose and character of the use. Is it for criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research? Transformative uses, where the new work adds something new, different, or transformative, are favored. So basically, if someone wants to take a part of a song, someone wants to take a part of a video and do commentary on it, or if they want to transform it into something that is new and beneficial to the market, and it's a distinct difference than the original, then that is more likely to be considered fair use regarding that.
It's like you were telling me, like on the news with Chris Cuomo.
They use clips.
He'll use clips of the news, what's going on, or clips from something on YouTube. But he doesn't concentrate the whole time and use that as his content.
Right.
He updates and moves on. And that's his job.
Right. Chris Cuomo doesn't say, okay, this is the Chris Cuomo show, and we're gonna watch Fox News's entire news broadcast, and I'm gonna do commentary on it every now and then. He's not rebroadcasting another news station's, newscast. He's creating his own, using probably the same clips that Fox News is using under fair use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that basically, is for criticism, commentary, news reporting is what he's doing. He's teaching people something, and basically the way it's transformative is that, he brings on other guests to share their opinions. He's creating something new, substantially new and beneficial to the market. He's just not, saying, okay, I'm Chris Cuomo here with the Chris Cuomo Show on News Nation. We are going to simulcast Fox News's, newscast, and I'll just sit back and do occasional commentary. I mean, who the hell would watch that? I tune in to watch Chris, hear his commentary, hear his guests, and then if he's talking about a news story, he'll show, a short clip of it. He's not playing the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, the only time the news really does that is if it's like a speech or something.
Well, everyone has the rights to broadcast the presidential speech, and that the president, the government wants every news outlet to cover that.
Mm-hmm.
So that, it's fair use, or it's just everyone is authorized to do that.
Yes.
The government is not putting on those speeches to per se monetize them. They're putting them out to inform, the public. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a good example. Mm-hmm. It depends how, and we're going to get to that, the effect of the use on the potential market. That's number 4. We're going to get to that, but that's exactly where that's at. So anything you want to add so far, Tia, regarding the checklist of fair use?
No.
Okay. Number 2 of the 4 factors of fair use that are considered: nature of the copyrighted work. Using factual or published works is more likely to be considered fair use than using highly creative or unpublished works. So basically something that is, more true than not, and something that has already been published and put out publicly by the creator is more likely to be considered fair use than using highly creative or unpublished works. If you somehow get a copy of somebody's video before they release it themselves, somehow that happens at times. That's theft. You put it out there before the original publishes it, then you're basically stealing. That's theft right there. That speaks for itself, right, Dawn?
Yeah.
And Tia, that speaks for itself, right?
Right.
Right. So the nature of the copyrighted work is huge too. Now, these last 2 are ones that have affected me more than anything because, for the most part, people that, have used my content on YouTube, including the people that have rebroadcasted my entire live streams as they've been happening live. The guy that I'm suing in court, his name is Jamie. He's violated my copyright in many, many different ways, but one of the ways was rebroadcasting my live streams as they're happening live. In essence, stealing my live viewers, making revenue off of that, stealing ad revenue from me because, we're monetized on our channels. And it also affects, it confuses the YouTube algorithm to recommend our content to the proper audience. For the most part, YouTube has been recommending our own content here, to the creators like this Jamie guy I'm suing that have been rebroadcasting us. It's been favoring their copy of our content over ours. So, that's been a big thing. So when we look at the next two, aspects of fair use on the checklist, amount and substantiality of the portion used. So the amount and substantiality of the portion used, using a small amount or less significant portion of the work is more likely to be fair use than using a large portion or the heart of the work. Okay. Let me repeat that one more time. Using a small amount or less significant portion of the work is more likely to be fair use than using a large portion or the heart of the work. I've never had a problem with people taking 5% or less of any of my content and doing a fair use reaction video. The problem is, like with this Jamie guy, he's been using either entire portions of my videos or live streams, or nearly full portions, nearly full re-uploads of my content. Mm-hmm. Okay. And why would people want to come and watch my content when they can see the whole thing on his end? Even if he's doing commentary the entire way, which his claim is, I'm doing commentary and I'm transforming the content. And then he's putting a MAGA hat on me, putting a brassiere on me as I'm walking, right? On my Walking with Purpose streams, he's rebroadcast. And honestly, what's he going to claim on that? Parody? Like that's more like, that's more like defamation and stuff in my opinion. Like, how are you substantially transforming the content and how are you making it new and beneficial to the original? We teach personal development here. Okay. He's basically saying that we're a fraud company, that we are, breaking the law and we're a criminal organization, right?
What's so criminal about us?
There's nothing criminal about us, but that's how he's trying to claim it's fair use. He's going to say that he's transforming the content and it makes it beneficial because he's informing the public of, our wrongdoings, which we haven't done anything wrong like that. We're not perfect. We made honest mistakes in the past, but we never in a criminal way. Never, And why put a MAGA hat on me? Why put a brassiere on me? What is the intent there besides, harassing myself and our company, defaming our character, and trying to effectively put us out of business? Like, let me ask Don first, and then we'll ask Tia, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I mean, I've seen on other creators that they might do one of your truth bombs, but then that's all I see of you in their, content. That's okay. That's not a big deal. But, using the whole stream, what it does is, these people could watch it on our channel, but they enjoy it on his because of the drama that he puts in there. And then his community, all they want to do is talk to each other. They don't want they don't want to talk to anybody else. They don't want to hear the voice of reason on the other end. So they're just going to stick together. That's why you're saying they could watch our show.
Right.
But they want to be in chat where they could just bullshit around and be ineffective. And, yeah, I think that's why he does it to you, because that's the only way he gets views.
Okay. What about you, Tia? What are your thoughts about, what I just mentioned?
Well, drama sells, and he does a good job of it. That's about all he can do, is the drama. Putting on pictures on top of you, and like you said, MAGA hats and whatever else he's done. Almost making a mockery out of you. It's excuse me. It's immature, but there's a lot that do it in that other community. It's like a little clique of people that are all together doing this, but Jamie's like the kingpin and gets these people to do it. So now you got more people doing it. And people, people are deranged in a way. Not all people, but YouTube's a very strange place. There are people that there are people that live for this. I don't, well, that's none of my business, but they do. Like, they can't wait for some of these creators to, if you want to call them that, go live, because they're going to bash Eli or a few others, but Eli seems to be the target. And they're gaining nothing. They are gaining, in fact, they're losing people, because it's getting old. But it's still the fact that it's affecting your business, and it has to stop.
Yeah, no, you make a lot of sense there. And it's one thing if a guy like Jamie, the guy that we're suing through the GNA, if he were to actually do commentary on the actual purpose of our content, all he's doing is basically making defamatory content. And like in the first factor, purpose and character of the use. Okay, is it for criticism, commentary, and user reporting, teaching? Sorry, not that one. The nature of copyrighted work, using factual or published works, is more likely to be considered fair use than using highly creative or unpublished works. What he's doing is highly creative works. He's trying to, put a hat on me, a MAGA hat. He's trying to put a brassiere on me. He's trying to add. What's that?
A rainbow.
He's putting a rainbow penis in my mouth. And my thing is, what is the nature?
What's the purpose?
What is the purpose of you making that type of content? Is it to critique the actual topic I'm discussing on my videos or in my streams? Or is it to basically try to defame my character and destroy, my business? Now, if we actually did something wrong or illegal, they have the right to talk about it. But what they're talking about is blatantly not true. It's blatantly not true. They are blatant lies. Okay? And then they are using our own copyrighted content to further spread those blatant lies. And then they package that up to an audience of people that conglomerate behind the scenes, that they're connected with in groups called Discord or on Reddit or wherever, right? And basically they plot the next way that they're going to try to affect our channel and our business. So let's continue. Sorry, Tia, did you want to add something?
No, that was it.
Okay. So the final one, okay. Oh, sorry. The amount and substantiality of the portion used. Again, if they were to use a smaller amount of the content, like 5% or less, like a pre-recorded video, or wait for the live stream to end and then do like a 5% or less, commentary, video, on that, and actually make comment on the actual purpose of the content we create here, which is not happening, and they know it, right?
Yeah.
No problem on that. Okay? And even if they wanted to do what's called a live look-in, listen very carefully, ladies, a live look-in, you ladies have seen on TV where some newscasts, like, okay, let's say CNN is broadcasting something and something happens like in the state of California and they don't have a reporter there yet, but there's, a local TV station doing something. They might do a brief live look-in through that local TV station's live feed. And all of these TV stations and all these major TV companies, they have an understanding that it's fair use. And why is it fair use? Because here's the thing. CNN doing a live look-in, to a local TV station, let's say in the LA market, is not going to be affecting their views or their revenue. It's giving them actually more exposure because technically that local TV station only has a range of about 100-mile radius or so. In that case, CNN's like, we're taking your story, we're putting you on the map, and we're also spreading more awareness to the country about something, important going on there.
Yeah.
And we just haven't had our crews there. And when our crews get there, whatever help you need from us, see that they're fair. They help each other out, right? That makes sense there. Okay. But if it was another local TV station in LA and they just said, we're going to rebroadcast our competing local stations' news broadcasts live as they're live, that's a big no-no. I mean, think about how that would affect them, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like, like the only thing that popped into my head was like the OJ chase, the high-speed chase on the freeway. As like on every channel, it was being broadcast.
Of course.
And so it's like, were all of those like fair use? Or,
yes.
Because they were all there?
Well, here's what happened. I think it was KTLA Channel 5 is one of the prominent stations down there that has all these choppers, and they've been doing these, freeway chase, videos and live broadcasts for decades. So when O.J. Simpson was live, they were broadcasting it to their local market that was tuned in there. But this was a national story. So, you have stations like CNN and other national stations that I'm sure they got permission. All these people talk, and they're this is the way they work. They're like,
oh yeah, the lawyers all get together and they write it all up.
Sure, but even beyond that, it's an understanding. They're like, okay, if you need something, we'll help you. If we can help you, we'll. They're all reasonable. You understand? Like the actual regular TV market off the internet. Okay, that's not dealing with a lot of these bad actors on the internet we're talking about. Yeah. They all have an understanding. They're not there to be vindictive to each other and steal from each other. They're there to bring each other more value and help each other out. You do a favor, like KTLA Channel 5 broadcasting the OJ Bronco on the freeway, on the 405, and then driving through, right? They're like, hey, let's let everyone use our feed. They have to also give CNN access to their feed by satellite. So they've already given the access. They're like, let's give everyone access, because what if we need something from CNN one day? then we go to them and they remember, we did them a favor, so they're going to do us a favor back, right? And copyright infringement is up to the copyright owner or holder to decide who can use it and who can't.
Yeah.
So if you're a fair person and you treat people right and you don't try to fucking steal from them and make money off their own content, they're going to be more prone to help you out, in other situations where you're going to need to use their feed or something like that, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing with this Jamie guy. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Give me 1 second here.
There was a little crackle.
Tia, can you say something real quick, please?
Hello.
Okay, I think it's better. I think it is better now. Let me do a really quick test here. I want to make sure that our audio is still coming through. We apologize. We record these live on tape. Okay, we're good. Problem solved. If this Jamie guy was reasonable and was willing to meet me halfway, I might have been willing to work something out with him on how much of my content he could use, but he was never reasonable.
Yeah.
He wanted 100% of the profit. He wanted 100% of the attention. He would try to make it appear like he was, being reasonable. And the first time I gave him the benefit of the doubt and he screwed me over. So ever since then, I just don't trust him. Right? That's the problem. So, when people are reasonable and fair, I'm more prone to work with them. And that's how most people work, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, babe.
Oh, no, you're completely right.
Anything else, Tia, before we get... Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, most definitely. People are more reasonable than not.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the big one right here. And after we finish this, we're going to go into the Ethan story. And I know Tia has read a little bit about it, and I know I've told you a bit about it. So we're gonna read about what brought these cases about, and then I actually have the actual cases. I'm not going to show them on the screen, but I will discuss a little bit about what's on them. It's public information. But number 4 on the fair use 4-factor list, and this is the one to me that's most important. Effect of the use on the potential market. One more time. Effect of the use on the potential market. If the new use doesn't harm the market for the original work, it is more likely to be considered fair use. One more time. If the new use doesn't harm the market for the original work, it is more likely to be considered fair use. Let me ask you, Don, first. What does that mean to you? Then I'm going to ask Tia, and then I'll share with you what it actually is.
Oh, I mean, that to me says basically like
if Jamie's usage,
if his usage and he's using it complete usage from start to finish of one of your live shows, then that's completely not fair use.
Right.
Because he's airing it at the same time as you.
And how does that harm us?
What?
How does that harm us?
It messes with the algorithm, and it takes viewers away from us. And like you were saying earlier,
and we're monetized, takes away ad revenue.
Yes, but as you said earlier, with all of this, people like tagging you in and stuff like that, then our audience is going to see that.
And go there.
Right. And so, or just leave altogether, not trust us, which is not what we want to happen. So, that's how I feel.
Okay, well said. Tia, what are your thoughts about effect of the use on the potential market? If the new use doesn't harm the market for the original work, it is more likely to be considered fair use.
Well, Dawn kind of summed it up pretty good as the same thing I was thinking.
Okay.
It would not, that's what I was going to say.
So pretty much the same thing as Dawn there, that if you use a full, if you re-upload a full video of someone, or even if you do a live stream and you play someone's entire full-length video, and even if you do commentary, you're taken away from the original, and those people will have no need to go over to your channel afterwards because they've consumed your original content on the infringer's channel.
Right, and that's what's been happening for a long time.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. So basically, the effect of the use on the potential market is one of my biggest factors against you, Jamie. I know you're going to be watching this, so I'll just address you directly. I don't care. The way you've used my content, the amount that you've used is nearly the full amount, or the full amount most of the time. The nature of your copyrighted work, basically you're doing highly creative stuff. You're not actually stating facts about my content or our business. Okay. Yeah, you are doing criticism and commentary and all that stuff. Maybe that's the only factor that, maybe you might be in compliance with. But is your purpose criticism, or is your purpose to try to destroy my business? And while you're doing that, you're feeding your audience their thirst for drama. And the fact that your audience, hates me because this guy built an audience of people that hate me. So then he could present my content to them, right? The effect of the use on the potential market. Yeah. You rebroadcasting these entire streams in the past took away live viewers. They took away ad revenue. And I don't care, if this guy thinks that, oh, well, how much do you get for ad revenue? Well, here's the thing. The more views that you take away, the less likely it is for the YouTube algorithm to promote our content to another group on YouTube to further grow. It's not only affecting us monetarily from monetized playbacks, it's affecting us from getting more views by, not having the extra views you're siphoning from us, which would have triggered the YouTube algorithm to further promote our content to another audience, which would have given us more views.
Yeah.
That's the effect of the use on the potential market. Okay. So, and also, this guy has also been making memes off of my copyrighted professional image I've been using all over social media since 2017. That represents me. He basically, one of the cases that I'm suing him on, basically is over him going to Google, stealing a Google image of a cockroach that he doesn't own. He doesn't own the cockroach. He stole someone else's copyright. Then he stole my copyright of my professional picture and put my image on it. And he called me Roach Eli. So
Creative.
honestly, is that parody, or is that actually using my actual image and defamatory? Like, you're calling me a roach? What is the reason why you're calling me a roach? What proof do you have that I'm a criminal, that I've broken any laws or anything like that, or the GNA is criminal activity? We've said some things we didn't mean in the past. We've used the N-word by mistake. We apologize. We've used the derogatory word for a gay man, and we apologize. These were things that we made mistakes on years ago. That's not criminal
Before
activity.
I came along.
That's not criminal activity. That is making an honest mistake that many people in the heat of the moment have done, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he's played this up for years, right? So the bottom line is, if you're going to try to claim parody on that, I'm going to ask you, what's that based on? Because that's my actual image. It's not parody, it's me. If you were going to do a parody, you could have made a cartoon image of me and changed it a bit. Now he's doing cartoon images of me.
Yeah.
Now he's doing it kind of the right way. I could still probably go after it because they look very similar. It has to be distinctly different. Okay. So using my actual image on a cockroach that he didn't even own anyway is not fair use. And the fact that he calls me Roach Eli, why am I Roach Eli? What have I done to deserve Roach Eli? How is that beneficial to the marketplace? And how is that factual? What facts do you have? Factual. What facts does he have to prove in the court of law that what he's saying about me, calling me Roach Eli, right? You can't go back 5 years ago and say, hey, I called someone the N-word. No judge is they're going to say, listen, it's not nice when people do that, right? I made some mistakes, but
a lot of us have.
But yeah, I mean, he has nothing to justify calling me Roach Eli. Now, if he wants to create a Roach Eli cartoon that looks kind of similar to me, but is distinctly different, and put on a roach and do that and make a fictitious character up and say the things he's saying that aren't true, that's a different story. Then that's parody. This is harassment. This is defamation. And that may be another option we go with this guy down the road. But most importantly, it is copyright infringement because that professional image represents me and how I identify myself and our organization that I founded, the GNA, January Networking Association. That's how we make money. What are your thoughts, Don, real quick about what I just said before we move on? And then we'll get Tia's and then we'll move on.
Oh, yeah, no, I was like speaking with you there. I'm totally on the same page of what you're saying. Yeah, obviously him doing a coloring book, it's not that fucking bad. I mean, honestly, if he wants to sit there and make coloring books all day, let him. You know? Who cares? But as far as using your actual professional photo on something else is where he's going wrong. And that's what's going to nail him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he put it on an image of a roach that was a Google image that he didn't create. He doesn't have the copyright on that. And then he used the actual head of my professional image that I have registered with the U.S. Copyright Office since last year. And it was still protected before that time. You know, when you're suing someone in copyright court, you can file for the image. So you can file for the copyright certificate at the time that you're filing for the case. Meaning that if it's for the Copyright Claims Board, you can file at the same time. But you can't file in federal court until it gets registered. But you can go back 3 years because everybody knows, including Jamie, you know it. Even without a copyright certificate, you have intellectual property rights. And I did already have intellectual property rights, but you just can't sue in federal court or in the Copyright Claims Board until you get that certificate registered. And it doesn't matter, the date of registration. What matters is it within the 3-year statute of limitations? Okay. Is it within the 3-year statute of limitations? And that's all that matters. But in the case between him and I, everything I'm suing him for happened at the beginning of 2025, between the beginning of 2025, first week of January, and now. He displayed all this stuff on live streams, on community postings, and it has nothing to do with, this is what Jamie doesn't understand. It has nothing to do with the day that he created these memes. It has to do when he used them. Did he display them on a stream? And he did. He made a whole show showing all of the ways that he used my copyrighted image. He basically just gave me my whole case in one video. It was when I went to Facebook for a couple of months. I took some time off of YouTube, and he said, "The burial of Cuck Eli." And I have to ask you this, Jamie. Is it parody that you call me Cuck Eli? This guy calls me Cuck Eli. I am not a cuckold, never been one. I've got a beautiful girlfriend here. I've always had a girlfriend. He's been calling me Cuck Eli. And that's defamatory because I'm not a cuck. I'm not. And it's one thing to say it every now and then as a joke. I can let that go, right? But he's made actual memes using my images and putting Cuck Eli on it. And I've got all that. Like, this is how far this guy has gone. And right now, he's keeping his mouth shut. And he's even trying to come back and say that I'm harassing him for making comments on his channels. You can ban me all you want. Plus, the guy's circumventing a YouTube ban for the last 2 years. So, now he's trying to come back and say I'm harassing him. This guy's been harassing me, defaming me, destroying my business, violating my copyright for the last 6 years. And I tried to tell him the same thing years ago. You're harassing me. And he goes, no, I'm just, making commentary, and it's my freedom of speech. Okay, well, that's what I'm doing too. So why do the laws apply differently to you than they do to me? What are your thoughts, Tia? Dawn just shared hers. What are your thoughts?
Well, everything that he's saying now is just so twisted, because he's defaming you, and because now he knows he's going to be facing the judge, and it doesn't look good for him. Anybody with half a brain would know that. And he's now trying to turn it around, like you're harassing him because you continue to talk about him. And he's saying, not good, not good. Jamie, you should have thought about that 4 years ago.
6 years ago. Yeah, exactly.
Well, 6,
right.
Yeah, I'm giving him grace, because he's been doing it. I wasn't part of that community then. But he's screwing himself, and he thinks now he can weasel out of it, like he's weaseled his way out of everything in life.
Exactly. He's weaseled his way out of everything in life. And, he's always used blackmail and intimidation tactics to get people to go away that he has wronged, right? And that's why it got to the point of where, I got to take some action. I've got to go legal. I got to go the copyright route finally with this guy, because our business here was never going to grow. If I kept on allowing him to do what he's been doing,
right. And I want to say one thing, that sometimes, people were saying, well, are you going to teach him a lesson? Is that your point? No. I mean, you want to hold him accountable for what he's done, but it's really that he is sabotaging what you've created. It's not anything really about teaching him a lesson.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair there, look, give me 1 second here. To be fair, there's nothing wrong with trying to teach someone a lesson. That's not against the law. And he thinks me saying that can be used against me in court. And that's definitely not true. Part of it, he needs to learn a lesson. He needs to learn his lesson.
Oh, that's for sure.
And I'm sure after any judge or jury would actually hear and see proof of what he's done for the last 6 years, they would understand, right? He's trying to come back and say that I'm biasing my own case by doing this. He's got all this fancy verbiage that he looks up on Google, or maybe he knew that verbiage, but probably not. He probably Googled all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. Dawn just went to the the restroom. I'm going to turn our camera off for a second. Go ahead, Dawn. You're good. You're good. Tia, our audio is still good on your end?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So, Dawn, you ready to come back on the camera?
Let's do it.
Yes, she is.
Hi.
All right. Yeah, so I totally agree with everything that you said there, Tia. We were just wrapping up, stemming off of what you said there. So let's go ahead and move on to the next part here, where I want to talk about the two current court cases that Ethan Klein has filed, and he said he's going to file 3 of them. I'll keep an eye on that, and if the third one happens, we can talk about it another time. But and I'm not going to show this part here on the screen, but let me see. This is an article. Ethan Klein sues Denims, which is a YouTuber that goes by Denims, another YouTuber that goes by Frogan, and Casey Tron over copyright violations. Ethan Klein is suing Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron for allegedly infringing on his content with low-effort reactions. That is true. That's exactly what they are. They're low-effort, lazy reactions. YouTube creator and H3 podcast co-host Ethan Klein is initiating a lawsuit against content creators Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron, accusing them of copyright infringement tied to his recent content nuke video. Klein's legal filings alleges that the 3 streamers incorporated substantial portions of his original footage into reaction videos without sufficient commentary or transformative content, a practice he contends violates U.S. fair use standards. And I agree with him, it does. Mm-hmm. The suit claims their reaction streams were a deliberate attempt to redirect traffic and ad revenue away from Klein's original upload. Now, let me ask you, Don, and then Tia. The last part there, the suit claims their reaction streams were a deliberate attempt to redirect traffic and ad revenue away from Klein's original upload. Does that sound familiar?
I think we were just talking about that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sounds really familiar.
Right? Go ahead, Tia. You wanted to say something. You were aching to get in on that one. I could tell. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's exact. It is exact. That's exactly what Jamie's doing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Why would well, I won't get into the whys of why he does it, but yeah, it's definitely the exact same thing. Lazy content, can't create, just steal somebody else's.
Yeah. Okay. According to the complaint, the defendant's low-effort approach, marked by sparse analysis or added value, fails to transform the original work, thus disqualifying it from fair use protection. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Klein asserts that this strategy not only siphoned views, but also diminished the potential monetization of his content. Sound familiar, babe?
Yeah, I'm gonna...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna just repeat the last statement.
Sounds like exactly what Jamie has done for the last...
familiar, yeah.
For the last 5-6 years?
Yeah. I'm actually surprised he's not in this community and, because he's doing the same thing to us.
Yeah. We're not the only ones. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people being abused.
Yes.
This way on the YouTube platform. Tia, what are your thoughts about that?
Again, it's exactly this, the same thing. And I gotta say, the word abused really fits well. I never thought of it as abuse, but technically it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, couldn't have said it better myself.
It's like taking an architect's blueprint of a building and then selling it as your own. You know, going down and building the same kind of building, but, you know, just trying to one up a little bit. You know,
Right.
I don't know if that's a right analogy, but maybe I'm just.
Well, yeah,
no, I
it
get.
is.
It's almost like impersonation,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost like, you know, Jamie getting a plastic model of me, putting it over his body, and then pretending to be me and doing streams.
What? I never saw any of those.
No, that didn't happen. I'm saying it would be kind of like if he were to get like a silicone bodysuit of me with all my facial features, body type, everything,
Mr.
right?
Beautiful.
Well, at 319 pounds, I don't think this guy would fit into a smaller suit. But anyway,
that's why they make tents.
Okay, I got it. I get it. But it would be like him impersonating me, looking like me, and then getting a voice modulator to modulate my voice, and then making content pretending to be me, telling people it's really me, and then doing defamatory stuff, right? I get it. With the architect thing, you're saying, you know, this architect stole the other architect's plans.
Yes.
And built the same building the original architect was going to build.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're saying. I think I came up with a great analogy there with the replica silicone bodysuit of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That Jamie would probably, if he could afford it, he would probably do that and pretend to be me.
You know what? You just may have given him an idea.
Well, that would be a lot of money. And first of all, you know, I don't know. I don't even know if they would even make those legally. I don't even think they would.
I would hope not. I mean, because that is now taking your face and using your face. I mean, it's like, I think like celebrities have to sign like away like their faces, like, because they make masks of like human faces.
Well, no, they get permission.
Yeah.
You have to understand when merchandise is being made, if a merch company goes to, who's your favorite actor?
My favorite actor. Oh, that's hard.
Let's say baseball player. Let's say.
Oh, okay, baseball player currently playing.
Huh?
Currently playing.
Let's just say Buster Posey.
Let's just say Buster Posey.
You name one of your dogs, Buster Posey. Okay, when he was playing, he's the GM of the SF Giants now. But let's say when he was playing. Hang on 1 second here. When he was playing, if someone wanted to make a Buster Posey bobblehead, I'm sure they made that, or a Buster Posey shirt, or anything with Buster Posey's picture, likeness, whatever, they would go to him and get permission and say, hey, we want to make this shirt. This will promote you, and let's split the revenue 50-50. We will take all the overhead. We will make the shirts. We will do them all nice, and we will run it by you to see if you like it. And he's like, okay, great. I'm getting half the money. It's further giving me exposure. People want the merch, right? That's how they do it. That's how it's done. These are contracts that are done ahead of time. You cannot make merchandise on somebody without their permission. You just can't. Now, another thing Jamie has done is he's made merchandise on me in the past. I actually have proof of that, but that's beyond the statute of limitations at this point. But it can still be used to show a pattern of character. When you're looking at things to create a pattern of character, you can go back. You just can't sue them for it unless it's within the 3-year statute of limitations. But he's made merchandise off of me, shirts and mugs and stuff like that. He's made merchandise, I believe, off of Donald Trump and other presidents, and you're not allowed to do that without their permission. Now, he's thinking, what are the chances that Trump is going to sue him? Probably slim to none.
Yeah.
Right? Well, what are the chances a smaller YouTuber that's trying to make ends meet and you're affecting his name and likeness, is going to sue you far greater.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, some people may just let them get away with it. It's completely up to the copyright owner and holder who they want to give permission to, or if somebody's violating their copyright, to take action on or not. It all depends on how it affects that person.
Yeah.
Maybe Trump is like, I don't care if people are making, all this stuff on me.
As long as it's made in America.
I have enough money and it's getting me more attention. And I've got bigger things to do. If it's not affecting him that much or at all, or if he feels that way, that's on him. But he could sue someone in that situation anytime that didn't initially get permission. Right? Anything else you want to add, Dawn?
No.
Anything else you want to add, Tia?
I just want to ask, are you saying years ago that Jamie did make replicas of you in some sort of way?
Yes, you had he actually, he had taken, I think it was my professional image, and he had made T-shirts on me. He was using my image. I can't remember if it was my professional image, but yeah, he was using my likeness on merchandise. And yeah, I mean, it got really bad. The levels that this guy took it to, and he's trying to claim fair use, and he's trying to claim parody. No, none of that was ever fair use.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the backstory. This guy's trying to come off like some innocent saint right now because he knows he's in really deep shit. Like he's in really, really deep shit. If this thing gets to federal court, like it's, it's just gonna be the end. But anyway, anything else, Tia, or should we continue?
No, that was it.
All right. The decision reflects escalating disputes in the digital content space over what constitutes acceptable reaction material. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they weren't even talking about his actual content. Like, they're trashing him. Trashing somebody is not reacting to the actual content. And how are you providing something beneficial, new and beneficial to the market? Like, it's just a drama shit show. And a lot of the times these creators, they're running a live stream where they're just letting the video play. They walk away for 10 minutes and it's just playing like it's their own video. Big no-no. Klein, who has previously defended fair use boundaries in high-profile lawsuits, appears to be setting a new benchmark for creators' control over derivative content. I agree, and I really love the fact that he's doing this, and I will support him. I'm going to try to even reach out to him, and who knows? Maybe he'll support me in going to federal court.
You never know.
You never know. You never know. Hey, It doesn't hurt to reach out. Oops. Tia, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Sorry, we started to have a little bit of a roboting. Give me just 1 second here. Testing. Okay. We are good. Okay. Let's see here. At this time, Denham's, Frogan, and Casey Tron have not issued public responses to the allegations, and I still haven't seen them do that. I'm going to be looking for that. Legal analysts predict the case may intensify broader debates around copyright enforcement and fair use in reaction videos, a format increasingly dominant on platforms like Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, more so YouTube. The outcome could shape future standards for what qualifies as transformative content and the rights of original creators in the digital era. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is something, when I saw this happen like a few days ago, I'm like, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. A more prominent creator that's made millions, who has 5.5 million subscribers. And this guy's actually, I believe he's 40 years old. He's a millennial. He's the same age as Jamie. He's a millennial. And he is far more mature than Jamie will ever be. far more reasonable and decent.
Probably has really good parents.
Yeah, I would assume so. It looks like his head and heart's in the right place. And he said he's not doing this for money. He's doing this to teach these people a lesson and to set precedents for other creators that are being wronged in the same ways. Because he knows there are people that don't have the resources, money, time, energy to go to court, to go to federal court.
Yeah.
So he wants to change the unclear laws regarding fair use. And I think he wants what I want. What I want, and I think he wants, is for the courts and the U.S. copyright government branch to pass new laws to force companies like YouTube and other companies to actively scan live streams and to more so, forcefully stop this type of infringement dead in its tracks while it's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because what do many creators do now? People still rebroadcast me, but they rebroadcast me while I'm live, and then they delete the stream once it's over.
Yeah.
Now, I can sometimes have somebody else file a copyright for me if I'm on a walk on the trail doing a live stream, I can stop and file the copyright myself, which is a pain in the ass, but I've done it before. Or I can have somebody else do it for me. That's a channel manager. But let's say YouTube doesn't take it down right away, and that creator gets to rebroadcast my content to their audience. They're getting donations. Then once my stream ends, they end their stream, they delete it, and then they never get penalized for it. What we need is more, more support while it's happening. We need YouTube to use their Google engineers and build a more robust, actively scanned system in their Content ID for all creators. So anyone that's being violated while they're live, they will basically either take the videos down automatically of the creators that are infringing or rebroadcasting or simulcasting, which is what it's called, or they'll pop something up on their screen and say, hey, look, you are reusing this content here. Continue at your own risk. You may be issued a copyright strike and the content may be removed. Or stop using this content now and continue with your show. And that's what they actually are already doing, but they're only doing it for the major motion picture companies, and TV stations that have full-blown access to YouTube's Content ID system. The average everyday creator like me, we have what's called the copyright match tool, which seeks for full re-uploads or near full re-uploads of re-uploaded content, but it doesn't give you active live stream protection. And that's what these people are exploiting. Does that make sense to you, Dawn?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. It's just, I agree. YouTube needs to, get on top of that more. But I honestly don't see how they can do that, and catch it like right in the act.
Their system would be scanning, my active live stream as the creator, and would be scanning for other people that are rebroadcasting the same thing. And their digital system.
It'll just know, okay, this is Eli's channel, like it's his. So anybody else broadcasting what Eli's broadcasting right now is in violation of YouTube.
Right. They'll prompt them to either stop doing it or we're going to remove the content and issue you a copyright strike.
Okay.
We need more active protection because all these, they're the millennials and the Gen Zers, the kids in their late teens and 20s and even some in their early to mid 30s. They're doing these reaction type of videos where they're stealing other people's content. They're just there's no point to the show. It's low value, no value content. They're trash talking the creator. They're doing it on purpose just to steal their views and monetize playbacks and get donations, right? And so, they're exploiting a loophole in YouTube's system.
Mm-hmm.
They're exploiting that loophole, and many of them will delete that content, or they'll just keep it up and say it's fair use.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why some of them have even kept it up is because, for the most part, no one ever did anything about it.
Yeah.
Now people are stepping up and saying, hey, enough is enough. We've had enough. Like, I personally am tired of people making money off of my hard work and other people's work and really not giving a shit and saying, it's fair use. I can use as much of your content as I want. That's their attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you more so want to go legal on them and shut them down.
Yeah.
Go ahead, babe.
No, I completely.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Tia, what are your thoughts before we continue here? We're going to go over the case here. We're at 1 hour and 30 minutes. So we're going to go over the case and then we should be done in about 30 minutes here. Go ahead, Tia.
Well, yeah, I feel they definitely have to do something because I think it's going on a lot more. It's just, it's going on a lot more, and people don't all have, it's expensive to go to court. It's a process. It's just a thing people just don't want to do, and so they a lot of times probably let it go. But with technology, you would think there'd be a way that really wouldn't be that hard to detect, especially if you're copyrighted, that, either way, but they have to. It's just going to continue and continue, and it's just not right. People put a lot of effort into that. I'd feel like a real, I guess, just a thief if I were to be the easy, what they call the easy creator or lazy creator. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be one of them at all. What gives you any pride in doing that?
Well, and what's their purpose of being on YouTube? Isn't it to bring attention to themselves and not put attention on anybody else? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm just trying to think with common sense, just the basic common sense, and it still doesn't make any sense. And the fact that they're, that they think that they're winning by getting away from it and skirting around the laws and these loopholes, that, they're sitting over there laughing at us, but they don't understand how serious it is and how far we will go. And we will, now that we are following this gentleman here, we're going to take a lot of his advice. Best believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I never known of anybody except you, Eli, that has gone this far. So, I think you have an extremely good case. And I think Jamie's going to regret everything he's done.
Yeah. And, honestly, I wish it never had to get to this point because I don't wish harm upon anyone, including him. I really don't. Mm-hmm. But, he's in his own world and it's either his way or the highway. There's no flexibility with people like Jamie, the guy that, I'm suing. And I think that's what Ethan Klein is dealing with as well. These people are not flexible. They're not reasonable. They're doing stupid things behind the scenes. They're plotting. Like, there are so many times that people have sent me screenshots and even, others have talked about it on their streams that used to be a part of Jamie's group. They plot things behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. They plot to affect my views, to steal my audience, to steal this, steal that. We're going to rebroadcast him while he's on his walk so he can't copyright strike us, right? Like, when you go to that level to create such a sophisticated operation to try to keep your facade going of using someone as your content and making tons of money off of him, because the majority of your audience, and then when I say majority, I'm talking like 80 to 90% of his audience has always been my haters. And
right.
You know, they all tune in when he talks about me.
Oh, yeah.
And when he doesn't talk about me, yeah, he might still get 30, 40 people, but he's not going to get 80, 100, 150 people like he does when he talks about me. He's not going to make the same money, you know, as he does when he talks about me. And in essence, all he's done this whole time is feed his audience, you know, what he feels they want and what he feels will make him the most money. That's all he did.
Yeah.
That's what. Well, that's not all he did, but that's pretty much what he did. And he didn't have a care about what it was costing me.
Yeah.
That goes to show that he doesn't really care. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
But and I've said this many times, that's what really bothers me, is he doesn't care about himself, much less anybody else. He just,
that's the problem there.
Yeah.
That's where it stems from. You don't care about himself. You got to start loving yourself first.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So let's do this. We're at 1 hour and 36 minutes. Let's read a little bit of this case here. So Ethan Klein, the owner at H3 Productions, actually, yeah, let's read a bit about this case. Then we got to go over that Reddit posting. So we're going to go through this case very quickly, not the whole thing, just a few lines, because we've already read some of it, and I'm not going to show any on the screen. Basically, Ethan Klein is the owner of TED Entertainment, Inc., a California corporation. So he's incorporated here in the state of California. And in this particular case, I'm not going to mention her full name, even though, you know, it's public information. People on YouTube would consider it doxing, I guess, but it's not. She goes by Denims on YouTube. And let's see here. He actually, during the first part, he was sharing clips of the stream that this Denims chick was running, the Nightmare on Denims Street, I guess is what it was called. And she said on the stream, he put in quotes at the beginning of his lawsuit, "We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the nuke views. Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since he's confirmed it's coming out today, I'm going to stream it." Denims, prior to reacting to Content Nuke, Hassan Piker or something, was another video that I guess Ethan Klein made. And then she goes, "Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like," meaning that money to there's you can send money to Prime or give gifts or some shit like that. And that's Denims after reacting to that video, Content Nuke, Hassan Picker, that Ethan Klein, I believe, made. Now, let's go. The introduction of the lawsuit, we're going to read a few parts here, and then we're going to get into that Reddit posting, because that makes the most sense out of the whole thing there. This lawsuit is about ending the practice of lazy reaction videos that copy entire copyrighted works and purposefully siphon views and revenue away from the original. That first line there. Babe, let me read it again. This lawsuit is about ending the practice of lazy reaction videos that copy entire copyrighted works and purposefully siphon views and revenue away from the original. What does that make you think of immediately?
Our case.
Huh?
The case that we have against Jamie.
Yeah, it's exactly what Jamie's been doing for 6 years. Not only to me, but many other people, but mainly to me.
Yes.
Right? Tia, what does that mean to you? Same thing, pretty much?
Same, yep.
like you're reading this and it's like, wow. I mean, I could not have said it better myself. This lawsuit is about ending the practice of lazy reaction videos. Jamie, you're a lazy ass.
Love it.
Lazy, fake instigated drama, slanderous lies, defamatory reaction videos that copy entire copyrighted works and purposefully siphon views and revenue away from the original. That's what you did to me. You may not be doing that now, right? And you may not have done that 100% of the time in the past, but to me, that's exactly what you did by rebroadcasting my streams. Okay? Over 7 years ago, the owners of Plaintiff Ted Entertainment, Ethan and Hilla Klein, established the legal standard for fair use reaction videos. There's another case, and I got to look into it, but apparently this was a case in New York, because I used to live out there, in 2017, that established the legal standard for fair use reaction videos. I'll probably go over that another time. As a genre, reaction videos vary widely in terms of purpose, structure, and the extent to which they rely on potentially copyrighted material. So yeah, this has become a genre. And there's nothing wrong with doing reaction videos. What matters is how much of it are you using? And are you actually making commentary on what's being stated in the video? Like right now, everything we're talking about here, we're doing commentary on the material we're actually using. That's fair use. Okay? So reaction videos, they vary widely in terms of purpose, structure, and the extent to which they rely on potentially copyrighted material. Reaction videos, like the Klein video that intersperse short segments of another's work with criticism and commentary, constitute fair use. So what he's saying there, and I want to get your reactions, is that Ethan Klein is saying what I've been saying for years, even to people like Jamie and others that have abused our copyright. Okay. These are videos that intersperse, mean they use short segments of another's work with criticism and commentary. Okay. You take less than 5% of my video. Okay. Let's see. If I did a 100-minute stream, that gives you 5 minutes. If I do a 50-minute stream, that gives you 2.5 minutes. Okay. Maybe a 60-minute hour stream or video, that gives you 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. You should be able to use 3 minutes or less of my content on a long video. Or if I do a 20-minute video, then use 1 minute or less. Okay? And that would be fine. And then do the right thing. Make an attribution in the description section and say, to view the full video, click here. Now, I haven't done reaction videos using other people's content in over 6 years, because back in those days, I started to see people like Jamie saying that, he doesn't want people copyright striking him for using their content, so he will never copyright strike them. He did copyright strike people. I was one of them on a backup channel. So we were talking about, hey, if you use short segments, less than 5% of the content, a couple minutes, of an hour video, maybe 30 seconds of a 5-minute video or whatever, use a small clip, make an attribution to the creator, and, tell people to go view their full video there. That's the right way to do fair use in my opinion. Is that fair?
Sounds right. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, so let's continue here. In contrast, reaction videos that are more akin to a group viewing session do not. So basically, the videos that are not considered fair use, which is what Ethan Klein's attorney is stating here, through Ethan's words, is the ones that are more akin to a group viewing session, meaning that you got these same, hate bonding groups that are created behind the scenes on Reddit or Discord. In Jamie's situation, in our cases against him, he has a Discord group of people. In the case of these other creators that Ethan Klein is suing, these creators are in a group on Reddit, I believe, called H3 Snark is what it's called, right? And basically, they create these hate groups, and their sole purpose is to destroy these creators, take away views, monetize playbacks, and then, make money off of, his content, getting more views, making, his monetized playbacks instead of him, and getting donations off of that. So, yeah, these group viewing sessions, a lot of these people are doing them. Jamie did this for years. Jamie relied heavily on group viewing sessions. He was never a real content creator. No, never. And any attempt that he's tried to be a real content creator, his audience doesn't want that. They don't donate to that. Maybe every now and then they'll throw him a bone just because they feel sorry for him. But he's made most of his money when he's done these group viewing sessions, especially when it involved rebroadcasting my live streams. Mm-hmm. Right, ladies?
I agree.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add to it, Don?
Nope.
Tia, you want to add anything else to it?
Nope.
Okay. Number 2, and this is the last part that, we're going to read 2 and 3, and then we're going to go to the Reddit posting and wrap this up. Number 2, this case involves a group viewing session hosted by defendant. We're just going to call her Denims. Denims specifically intended her group viewing session to siphon views and revenue away from, TEI's copyrighted works. That's TED Entertainment Inc. Copyrighted works. And then he lists the copyrighted works there. Denims timed her group viewing sessions to coincide with the exact moment TEI released the works. So she knew, Ethan Klein's pre-recorded video release schedule and timed her group viewing sessions to coincide with the exact moment that he released the original video. And then shortly went live after that and played his video. What do you think about that, babe? Don?
I can't even believe how similar these cases are.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
It really does.
Is that all that's all there is? That's all you need to say, huh?
Yeah, and I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of like,
your reaction is priceless.
Yeah.
Tia, what are your thoughts? Same thing?
Yeah, and I will just add that I now have to think this is going on a lot more than I ever realized.
Mm-hmm. It opens up your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
It opens up your eyes, and I hope this podcast opens up the eyes of many, many people.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, let's continue here. Her timing was intended to capitalize on the intense public interest in the works and siphon the maximum amount of views and revenue away from the works to herself by showing the works in their entirety or nearly in their entirety. So basically, her intention was to capitalize on the intense public interest of Ethan's video and siphon the maximum amount of views and revenue away from Ethan's video by showing his video in its entirety or nearly its entirety to her group viewing session that she plotted behind the scenes through a Reddit group. Like honestly, how can you fucking have any respect for any human being that does that? This is the woman I showed you, the one that was wearing the low-cut shirt showing cleavage.
Yes,
right?
That's Denims. We had a little, we disagreed about that.
Well,
I felt she was properly dressed.
Okay. It's all good. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. I love you, but you're entitled to your opinion.
Alrighty, carry on.
Tia, anything else you want to comment on what was just said there?
No.
Okay. Number 3. The moderators of the H3 Snark subreddit, this is the subreddit I was talking about, right? Where they, plotted all this shit, right? The H3 Snark mods, the moderators there, heavily promoted Denim's group viewing session. Reddit is very big, and all these creators are connected with a lot of people. When you ladies hear this, I told you this yesterday, babe. I'm going to share it again, and Tia is going to be blown away.
Sit down, girl.
This is on such a more massive scale than what Jamie's done to me. But Jamie's done more than enough on its own, but this is even worse. Okay? So the moderators of the H3 Snark subreddit heavily promoted Denim's group viewing sessions as an alternative to the original works on the H3 Snark subreddit. As a direct result, Denim's group viewing sessions of the works, which is his video, peaked at approximately 45,800 concurrent views, when her previous stream only achieved approximately 3,300 views. So these people...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. It's sad. I feel really sad and sorry for these people because they have nothing in their lives. So yeah, they're out there projecting because they're unhappy, and like they see if Eli and I are happy, then they've got to figure out like where to come at to get to us, what's going to make me upset, what's going to make him upset. It's just they've exhausted everything with Eli and I. Yeah, there's nothing you could say that's going to upset us, and that's the God's honest truth. Do you have anything to say?
I can attest.
Yeah.
I know you guys well enough that it don't bother you guys one bit, and it sure as hell don't bother me.
Yeah.
But I feel sorry for the creators that are doing all the work. Be it on a smaller scale or bigger scale. That is, there's just no excuse for that. It should, it should become a crime. It really should. That's a lot of work. It really is, to have somebody just take it away.
Yeah. It is a lot of work. I can say I can contest to that, seeing how much he's doing and just everything he does. And then he puts a show together on the fly and he's out the door in a half hour. So, I mean, baby, you do a lot of good hard work, and I'm proud of you.
I appreciate it.
You do.
We continue. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. It's actually really nice to hear that. I'm not one that likes to play the role of the victim or cry victim, but when you've been completely victimized by one man, Jamie, on this platform for 6 years, and he's exploited this massive exploitation, right? And you work hard every day. I go from doing this podcast now to doing a Walking with Purpose live stream. I've created other content in the past. And then they steal the work and they make all the money and they get all the views. And when they were monetized, they would get all the ad revenue. And when he's made, at the very least, I've estimated he's made at least $200,000 off my content in the last 5 to 6 years. That's a low ball estimate. Probably more, but go ahead.
Easy. I was going to say that's I was going to say that's easily he made that.
Yes.
I mean, for sure, no doubt.
I mean, I will tell you this, okay? I will tell you this. You know, that guy in 1 year has made more money than I've made running this business combined for the last 7+ years. Okay. Now, and then he calls me a failure. You're a failed business owner. You don't have a real business. You're a criminal, this and that. So when you do nothing but sit on your ass all day and gain weight in your parents' home, living there rent free, and you are conspiring and doing things that affect me in the way they have, what do you expect to happen? What do you expect to happen, dude? Speaking to him, what do you expect to happen? Right now, this guy's trying to cry wolf right now and say I'm harassing him. I've never once harassed the guy. You know, he's trying to keep things quiet because we have 2 open copyright claims board cases that he's probably going to opt out of, and then we're going to end up in federal court. But this guy still, he has no heart. He has no soul. He tries to come off like he's the nicest guy in the world to whatever's left of his group right now. And he's lost a lot of support over the things he's done, including what he's done to me. But he still has some support, and he's still trying to come off like he's some saint. Dude, you're no saint. You have hurt people. You have hurt myself and my business. You've hurt my girlfriend. You've attacked her. You've made lots of memes on her. Okay? You've hurt other women on this platform. You use people. You use people and dispose of people. That's what these people do. They use people, and then when you're of no use to them, then they dispose you. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's all. Anything else, Tia, or should we continue?
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay. We're getting close to the end here. Denham's greatly profited from her group viewing session of the works through advertising revenue, donations, and paid subscriptions. Like most lazy reaction videos, Denham's peppers her group viewing session of the work with primarily brief and sporadic observations, which can be categorized as following. Most frequently, Denham's will watch long, unadulterated portions of the work and briefly pause to give short, surface level, and often repetitive observations that provide little to no new information, new aesthetics, new insights, or understandings. So she's not doing commentary on the actual video. All she's doing is trashing the guy. And that's what the audience wants. They're there to see the shit show. And he's right. They're not really doing fair use. They're not providing, any value. The commentary and criticism is not on the actual video. It's just attacking the character of the creator. Does that make sense, Dawn?
Yes, it does.
Does that make sense, Tia?
Yes.
Okay. Other times, Denham's commentary has little to no critical bearing on the style or substance of the works. Rather, she goes off on tangents regarding unrelated subjects or shadow boxes, demonstrably false misrepresentations of the contents of the works, just like Jamie does. They talk about things that have nothing to do with what's being said in the actual piece of content. Because their audience doesn't want that. Their audience wants these creators to trash talk the creator, which is not the purpose of the video they're reacting on. Go ahead, babe.
I was going to say, Tia, you and I were talking about something similar to that earlier before we started the show with one certain person, and she did a video, and what she put as the title is what captioned me. And then I click on it, and it's nothing about the person that they put in the title.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
oh, right.
I'm like, dude, like, I didn't want to watch this person do that. I was wanting to hear what you had to say about that person,
Right.
And it's like a clickbait. They'll put somebody else in there just to draw them in, and then they'll get their attention another way.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Let's continue here just a little bit more here. On the rare occasion where Denims does provide sporadic and brief commentary on the style or substance of the works, she spreads misinformation that is refuted moments later by the works themselves or by the most cursory level of research. On the rare occasions where she actually shows the factual basis for claim, her statements are refuted by the cited source itself. Such misinformation fails to serve copyright's goal of enriching public knowledge. This is well said. To the contrary, such misinformation diminishes it. Right. She's diminishing the original content. Just like Jamie did to me. Basically, leading her people to believe, or, other people that come across these reaction videos to believe that what they're saying about, Ethan Klein is true. Just like Jamie it was trying to get people to believe what he was saying about me was true. Most of the stuff he said about me was false. It absolutely was false. And he would have to prove that those things are true in court if necessary. And he can't prove things that never happened to be true because there's no proof of it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can have witnesses lie. You can subpoena witnesses to lie on your behalf, but that's perjury. And I don't think anyone's going to perjure themselves for this guy. They shouldn't do that, right? Finally, Denims will even do an empty chair reaction, as shown above at the top of the the case, where she goes off camera for an extended period of time while letting the video play to keep her audience entertained. So she will let the video run for maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes while she runs off, does bathroom. Whatever, bathroom, whatever, snack. Right? Whatever, right? and what is the point of that? Right? You're trying to keep your people around. And this is being done on a monetized YouTube channel that'll probably eventually be demonetized for reused content and probably be removed for terms of service violations, just like Jamie. This always all leads down the same path for these creators that do this.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
So Tia agrees with that. Let me see here. The poverty of Denim's commentary, coupled with her highly commercial use of the works, it is highly commercial use. She's making tons of money off of it. She's making ad revenue off of it, right? That she specifically intended to serve as a substitute, so she served it as a substitute for the originals, fails to justify copying TEI's works in their entirety or nearly in their entirety. Rather, Denim's group viewing session is a quintessential example of copyright infringement. I agree. The unauthorized exploitation of TEI's works to get attention and avoid the drudgery in working up something fresh. This lawsuit is to hold Denims accountable for her infringement and the H3 Snark mods accountable for materially contributing to her infringement. And yeah, the bottom line is this guy can subpoena all those people.
All of them.
Right? Like all of these people are contributory accessories. And yes, you can actually, include someone in a lawsuit that's contributing to the infringement of someone. Like in the case of Jamie, there's this other guy. His name is Silicone. I know his real name. His first name is Jace. I'm not going to say his last name. Silicone J.O. This guy's been paying people lots of money to make content on me. He's a contributor to that infringement because he's paying money with the specific intention of Jamie rebroadcasting my content. That makes him an accessory. In other words, it's called contributory infringement. If you contribute to somebody infringing on your intellectual property, copyright in any way, shape, or form, even if it's monetarily, you're paying them to use their content, to use the other people's copyrighted content, you're contributing. That's basically what's going on here. These mods are contributing to the infringement by bringing more of an audience to to Denham's, group viewing session on a live stream at the same time that Ethan Klein released his pre-recorded video, like shortly after, minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about that? And then we're going to get to the final section here.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything. I mean, this is lining up with exactly what we're going through with Jamie. What's going on with this Ethan case is the same as what you're doing. And I find it like really kind of crazy and ironic how it's even on his level, of being how many people he has subbed and all of that stuff, that these little people think that they can come after a big YouTuber like that is like really ballsy. Maybe they thought that they weren't going to get caught, that he was too big, but obviously he's too smart to let this get by. So I support it 100%. Just like I support you.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. What are your thoughts, Tia?
Dawn, you had good thoughts there.
Thank you.
Sure, yeah. Probably not ever thinking it would come to this. I have a lot of thoughts going through my head because I can't believe. I'm still shocked in my head about the 43,000 views. And I'm still thinking, like, how many people are doing this? And
right?
Yeah, like I must have been very naive, or I just wasn't part of that. You've got to be a certain kind of person to do that. Your life, and I don't mean to critique, but your life has got to be awfully miserable to do those things. Why? I wouldn't feel good about, taking, I call it dirty money, but I wouldn't take somebody's money. I mean, everybody's got to live, and I'm not just talking Jamie. These type of people are so off, deranged. Well, I don't even know what to call them, but it really, really bothers me. And all I can say, because I'm really listening to all this, and it's making me, like you said, Eli, I hope that this podcast gets out there and really opens up eyes, because it has me, and I've been in it, but to the extent is going, there has to be an end to it, or more severe penalties, something. I mean, the penalties are there, but they got to do more. They're not doing enough, really, because YouTube, and it's probably going to grow, and more things are going to be out there, and technology is always growing. There's always ways to do things, and if they don't catch this now and do something now, I can only imagine what the future is going to be like.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. By the way, Don just stepped away to go and use the restroom. Let me respond to what you said, and then we will, if Don's not back, then I'll make something else aware. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's why I feel this case that Ethan Klein is filing on these creators is going to make a big difference. It's going to change the future of reaction videos and the future of fair use as we know it on the internet, especially YouTube. People have abused copyright in this way on YouTube more than any other platform, and it's the same exact way. It's these shitty reaction videos with shitty, low life, trashy, scumbaggy people, lazy millennials or Gen Zers that are trying to exploit a loophole to make easy money for as long as they can until they get caught. And they know they're going to get caught. They all know they're going to get caught. They all know they're violating the law. They're violating copyright. And they know they're all going to get caught. But they keep on doing it till they get caught. And then when they get caught, they try to make excuses that what they're doing is not wrong. It's fair use and blah, 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 blah. The people on the internet that don't like Ethan Klein are trashing him for suing people over this. The people that like him and support him and are reasonable like we are over here, hang on one second, they're like, yeah, this needed to be done. Someone needed to stand up for the entire community of creators on YouTube and anywhere else like Twitch or Rumble or wherever people's intellectual property or, copyright's being violated in this way. It was going to take a prominent creator that has money, that has resources, and has been down this road before to fight this and stand tall for all creators. I have the utmost respect for Ethan Klein. Are you ready to come back on camera?
I'm good. Just tiny bladders to me.
Yeah. Oop, I'm sorry.
No.
What you said is good. What you said, Elias, is really good. And, you said you might reach out to him. That, what the heck? Why not? You might get a response.
I've always said that was all. Like, he has 2 other ones that he watches, or 3, and I'm like, you share a lot of the same opinions. You should just start commenting, and then, let them hear your story, and then they might even try to help you the same way we're helping other people. So
because they've been there, right? They know.
Yeah.
They're just, higher. They're not as prominent, but that doesn't matter. You're still being screwed over.
Yeah. Yep. So I just, I think it's a positive thing that he does reach out, like you were saying. Besides just him, there could be other people in the chat that, have also got help, and we, how we chat in the chat, and so maybe somebody else can help us, or we can help somebody there. So I think it's a beneficial thing just for publication of, what we do in the way that we do it, and comparison to how he's doing it and how he's being treated as well.
Yeah.
Sound fair?
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really proud of how much you ladies have learned regarding this. And this is important for everyone to know. We need to teach, copyright laws and fair use laws to everybody nowadays, because with the advent of the internet and social media, everybody's violating your copyright in some capacity or another, some worse than others, right? You got to know what to look for, especially if you are a business.
Yeah.
Now, even if you're not a business, if somebody takes your name and likeness and is making money off of your name, and you're not a business, you still have to watch out for that, because then they're exploiting you for profit.
Yeah.
Now, if people talk about you as a news story every now and then, that's not a problem. But if they basically, go to your Facebook and make content about your Facebook postings every day, and then they use your images and stuff like that. You got to understand that, that could be copyright infringement. It's not fair use. If you don't know what fair use is, these people will say, "Oh, this is fair use." We can sue you for this. If you try to file a copyright takedown, we'll file a counter notification, and blah blah blah, and we'll get our video back. That's what these people do, and they scare most people away. Mm-hmm. We need to set precedents here to teach people to not be scared away by these people that are violating our intellectual property rights. Anyway, all right, so
I just would like to know how these people would feel if somebody like Eli was doing the same thing to them. Like, I wouldn't like it. So why are they doing it? Eli could very much restream some of their crap that they're doing, or if we know
they would take me down. They would take me down for copyright.
But yes, I know. But that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm saying is now you would take him down for copyright, which is what we're doing. But like I'm saying is he can dish it. He can't take it is the big thing with
for sure.
Mm-hmm. It goes back to responsibility and the lack thereof that was taught to him.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, so hang on, let me make sure that this is in sync here. I'm sorry, I'm figuring out the technical difficulties as we're going along here. Hold on a second. All right, I think we're good there. I think we're back. I think we're back in sync.
Was I crackling before?
No, I think we're all good.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We're going to go to the final part here, and we're going to go to the browser screen here. And this is from the subreddit r/H3H3 Productions. This is Ethan Klein's actual official subreddit with 587,000 people in it. That's wonderful, man. Good job on that. Yeah. But the topic is how Ethan's lawsuit is actually standing up for small creators. I reckon there has to be a lot of smaller creators working their asses off trying to come up with unique or catchy content, maybe while working their crappy job. That's true. For some people, it's their destiny to maybe only ever have one hit video that pops off and maybe they never manage that again. Okay, yeah, that's true too.
That's fair.
Life can be like that. If your one hit video enjoys most of its popularity as a chair react, all the work that led up to that and around it is lining someone else's pockets. Yeah?
Pretty much so.
Your hard work, all of my hard work has gone into Jamie's pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what he did to exploit this loophole in copyright law, which really should have never been exploited. Because YouTube's system is not set up to stop things as they're happening live for smaller creators. He got away with it for so long. Or, okay, maybe some people put one video up and get lucky, but that's not everyone. That is true. Most people don't get that lucky. So, as much as Ethan's detractors will frame this as some petty vendetta, he even stated he doesn't need a monetary settlement. A significant moral one would suffice. I like that. I respect that about him. This could set a legal precedent that will protect the hard work of smaller creators going forward. And I'm one of those smaller creators.
Mm-hmm.
We are one of those smaller creators here at the GNA, and this is something that we really, really deserve to have protection on. We do deserve it. We do.
Yep.
Yep. Man. Anything else you want to add to that, Don?
No. I'm good.
Nico Starkiller says, exactly, the people he is suing aren't creators. They're content leeches. Content leeches. I got to give him a big, huge round of a, what, baby?
Applause.
Absolutely. They are content leeches. Creators like Lemino put months into research and development for one video, all for streamers to just rip it 100% and rebroadcast it for a watch party. These watch parties need to be stopped.
Yeah.
These watch parties, I swear, YouTube is going to have to do something about it. I bet you over the next year or two, you're going to see, based on these Ethan Klein cases, you're going to see Google having to do something. Okay, either add terms of service that if you have these watch parties and you're rebroadcasting, you will be terminated for terms of service. This needs to be YouTube and the platform standing up beyond copyright law and saying this is just abuse of the service.
Mm-hmm.
This is abusing other people on the platform. This is stealing. It is considered copyright infringement, but it's also theft, and it should be a terms of service violation that immediately gets these creators shut down on the spot. Would you agree, Don?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Tia, would you agree?
Oh, definitely, yes.
What were you going to say, Don?
Oh, I was just saying yes.
Okay. Few more here. We're going to wrap it up. Requisite Asmongold bad, but I don't know what that meant. There was a YouTuber with like 60 subscribers who had a video he reacted to, and they were up to 100K subs a few days later. That's, of course, because he always gives them credit, tells people to go to their channel, like, subscribe, and links the original video from his YouTube React. And he probably only uses 5% or less of the actual content.
That's the way it should be done.
And that's the way it should be done. This is the way it should be fucking done. These watch parties are the problem. I've never heard it stated that way, but Ethan nailed it. These are watch parties.
I was going to say the only watch parties I've heard of are like on Games of Thrones night, and y'all get together with your friends and watch the next episode.
Right.
That's what I imagine when I hear that. I don't imagine sitting around and watching somebody else's YouTube channel.
YouTube needs to make it a terms of service violation and an offense that'll get you terminated right away. Watch parties are not allowed to, they need to do something to their terms of service, because this is exactly like, and the reason why YouTube hasn't done anything about it, they probably know about it. They know about everything. This is half their platform. Half their platform's doing this. If you take this away, how much revenue would it cost YouTube not allowing these creators to get away with this? YouTube they're caught in the middle of a shitstorm with this one. Ultimately, at the end of the day, as more and more creators stand up for themselves and they go to court over this stuff, eventually YouTube's going to be forced to do something about this if they don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These creators need to focus more on they're not even real creators, but they need to focus on actually being real creators and focus on creating original content. Yeah. That's the bottom line.
Bottom line.
That's the bottom line. The age of exploiting, other people's content to have these watch parties, it's coming to an end. If the lawsuit steers people towards that type of React behavior, then it would be a huge boon for small creators. So technically that could happen, but let's remember Ethan has talked about being open to settling and saying that's what he expects to happen. Seems extremely unlikely that this goes to jury trial. Well, part of the settlement would be that, they pay him some restitution. There's got to be something that it costs these creators monetarily for them to learn their lesson. The only way Jamie and these other creators that are being sued by Ethan are going to learn their lesson is monetary loss.
Yeah.
That's it. It's got to cost them at least $5 or $10,000 a piece. Because if you just have them sign a waiver or something that they're not going to do it again, they will do it again, right? Now, the judge could put an injunction and say, if you do this, you'll be held in contempt of court. That may end up stopping them, right? So it's going to have to be at least the judge putting in an injunction under contempt of court for them to stop, or it's going to have to cost them at least $5 or $10,000, some monetary amount that, they lose. Because if you don't hold them accountable in one of those two ways, they're not going to take you seriously. They're going to keep exploiting the system, right? What do you think, Don?
Oh, yeah, no, you're totally right there. It's gonna, if they're not being told to stop, they're going to continue being bad, just like any person or child, if you don't correct the behavior, then they think they're doing nothing wrong and keep doing it.
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I know.
You know. Okay. Any other thoughts, Tia?
No, I agree with what Dawn's saying. Yeah. It's got to be corrected.
It absolutely has to be corrected. Let's do final thoughts. Let's give Tia let's give Dawn her final thoughts first, and then Tia, we'll go ahead and put you backstage. You can leave whenever you want. Then Dawn and I will finish up the show. But Dawn, what are your final thoughts?
Today I feel good about what we did today because I feel like it was really educational to a lot of people out there who might be small content creators like we are. It might also wise people up to realize what they're doing and how wrong it is. You never know who you're going to reach out to. So, but as far as the copyright issues and all of that, it is a sticky situation like we were talking about in the beginning of fair use. But that's why you need to know what you're doing when you come onto YouTube. You need to look into all of that. Know what's fair use. Know what are the terms of service, what is going to get a strike against you, and so forth. You should already know these things before you even start your channel. Because that's how you actually start a business. Is you don't just open the doors and start going. No, there's planning, there's research, everything.
Right.
For that grand opening. And so you should already be prepared when you're going to present your business to the public. And that's what these people aren't doing, and they're not being held accountable for
Exactly.
that. So, I just would love to see something positive come out of this. We'll be following this case quite closely to see how it progresses. And obviously we'll be giving you guys updates as we hear them. But yeah, I think it's been a great show. So, Tia, what do you have to say for your final thoughts?
This all ended up totally different than I was expecting. I was, I'm not a creator. I work with the GNA, and, the GNA is trying to help people. We try to help people, and we've gotten blasted for that, the negativity and all the lies, but and it bothers me, but in the whole realm of things, I feel sad about all of this. I really do. I feel bad for the creators that really work, and they're maybe they don't know how to go about like reporting people, and that's another thing,
Yeah.
to try. And we had talked about that, the GNA, about helping people to file because too much shit is going on. But I just, I have my whole mood is different because I just, not that I'm naive, but I just can't believe that there was so much of this, this deceitfulness going on um, by people that, and I hate to say they're all lazy, some are, but they have no want to make their lives better. They'd rather steal it, and it just kind of blows me away. Like I I could not be like that. I'm not like that, and
Right.
I can't. I feel sorry for the people that are really trying. That's what my
Yeah.
main point is. And things have to change. I'm
They do.
leaving with you know um kind of a sad feeling because it really is. It's not right, and this should have been addressed a while ago. But thank God for his first name is Klein or last name Ethan
Ethan
Klein.
Klein. Ethan Klein. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. It's almost Elias and Ethan, similar
Yeah, they're
names.
close. Yeah,
That's true.
that's funny. I didn't
Well,
even catch that
Yeah.
at first.
well, Jamie's made a cartoon parody of me called Cuck Ethan, which is actually me.
Oh
Which
Jesus!
which the thing is, it's a derivative of my likeness, and it is easily identifiable. It's me, especially a similar voice. I could probably go after him for that, but I don't at this point right now. There's already plenty to go after him on. But like this dude literally
Oh yeah.
has made my likeness all his content, most of his content. The majority of the money he's made
Hmm.
on YouTube, I'd say lifetime on YouTube, I'd say about 75 to 80% of the money he's made has been off of my likeness, my name, my content, whatever.
I agree.
Yeah.
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 I
And
do
it's
too.
just he needs to be stopped. These people need to be stopped. And I think that these cases that Ethan Klein is putting out there, he's doing it for the right reason. I even think the judge and the jury will sympathize with that. So we'll sympathize with that. And I think the right outcome will happen. This is brilliant, Ethan. Brilliant way to get actually more of the right attention on your channel.
Exactly.
Like that's brilliant.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else, Tia?
Not right now, but I will say that I wish the best for Ethan. I don't think he's going to have a problem, and
Nope.
we'll see what happens. But it's going to help a lot of other people. And that's about all I have to say. And thanks again for having me.
Oh,
Thank you very much,
absolutely.
Tia. That's
It's our
I'm at a
pleasure.
loss. Go ahead, Don.
It's our pleasure to have you, and
It is our pleasure to
yeah,
have.
we really like it when you and unfortunately Sandra couldn't be here today, but when the two of you guys are on, it's almost like when we do our like conference calls with everybody. It
Yeah.
just kind of flows
Uh-huh.
just like that, and just yeah, I think we have good chemistry here.
Yeah,
Right.
we do.
Okay. Tia, thank you so much. We're going to put you backstage. You can leave whenever you want to leave. Thank you very much. All right. So let's go back to full screen. And Don and I are going to finish this up. Wow.
Wow.
Babe, any final thoughts you want to mention? I've pretty much said everything I need to say, but what are your final thoughts? You just made your final thoughts. Let's just final thoughts on the overall show, anything in the future or whatever.
Yeah, final thoughts. Come on, guys, let's do what's right in the world. Let's follow the law. That's my encouragement to you. It's just, you're going to get further in this world if you follow the rules, and stealing content is still stealing. And how y'all sleep at night, I have no idea. But, yeah, that was one thing that we wanted to get across today with how wrong these quote unquote creators, are using this platform as a way to scam people legally. And it's just, I think that there should be more restrictions, definitely more restrictions when it comes to this. And yeah, I didn't realize it was such an issue on YouTube until obviously I started dating Eli, and I've been here to see all of this going on for almost 4 years now. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what am I walking into? A circus?
Yeah.
Because these are not my monkeys, and so this is not my circus. And I had no idea. Tia said being naive. I was completely naive to anything that went on here. And boy, oh boy, my eyes are wide open now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, we just, today, we just wanted to educate. If you want to know more information, obviously check on the Ethan case. And, always reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns, or if you have a topic you want us to talk about. We'd love to hear that.
Yeah, what we wanted to do, thank you, baby, for that. What we wanted to do is basically share with you folks that don't think you have rights when it comes to copyright and people abusing your copyright or your intellectual property, whether you are a commercial business like we are, or not. People cannot violate your intellectual property and always use fair use as the excuse or the reason. It has to be done the proper way. And at the end of the day, ultimately, it's up to the court of law and the judge and the jury to decide what is considered fair use and not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay? So don't let these people tell you. If you feel you're being violated, reach out to us. We will look at your situation and give you our best advice or our best opinion on whether we feel it's fair use or not.
Yeah.
Feel free to reach out to me, eliasmelas at genuinenetworkingassociation.org. The email is in the description section of wherever you find this podcast at, audio only or video. But yeah, with that being said, let's wrap it up.
Alrighty.
You ready to wrap things up? All right. It's time now to start wrapping this baby up. All right. You've been listening to the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, episode number 14, which was titled The Major Copyright/Fair Use Issue. Now, I want to remind you folks that this podcast is available throughout the entire podcast network, including Apple, including Spotify, including Amazon Music, including my lady's favorite, iHeartRadio, and many, many others that are not as well known. You can do a Google search and type in Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, and you will find it on the audio-only platform in case you're viewing this on YouTube. Now, if you are listening to us on the audio-only network and you want to watch the YouTube video version of the same exact thing you just heard or you're listening to, right? You can go below in the description and you'll see a link to that particular episode's video. When you click that link, it'll take you to our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. And, you can watch the video there. You can also subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications. You can also go below in that description, which is what I'm trying to say, and subscribe to our live streaming channel, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where we do daily, if not almost daily, Walking with Purpose live streams and other live streaming content there. So make sure that you, go to our YouTube channels and subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications, and keep in contact with us. With that being said, have a good one, baby. Take care. And as always, what, baby?
Be good to each other.
Be good to each other.